Hey guys, my name is Kenny. I recently bought the FightCamp system and I've been using it for about a month, and I'm gonna let you know what my thoughts are. So when you first order FightCamp, you get everything shipped to you in different boxes. So for shipping, they currently say you will get everything within 10 to 15 days. When I first placed my order, it was November 10th. And the first part of my shipment came in 3 days. And it was actually the biggest part of my shipment. It was the bag and the base. You get those in 2 different boxes. 2 days later, I got the next part of my shipment, and that was the gloves and the trackers. These all came in one box, and I also got the bag ring on the same day. So I pretty much had everything I needed to get started, and I was only missing my mats. And for some reason, those took over 2 weeks to get here. And it might have been because it was the heaviest package out of all of them. Even though that took pretty long to get here, I didn't mind because I had everything else to get started. So starting with the gloves, these are very high quality gloves. They pretty much look exactly the same as when I first got them a month ago. They really do seem that they could last a few years. Moving on to the wraps, these are made to hold onto the trackers that come with it. They both have a pocket stitched to the top to hold the trackers. The main portion does seem like it's good quality, but when you move on to the wraps, you can tell that they're kind of flimsy. After using these the first few times, the stitching started to come off just a little bit. So now every time I use these, I try to be extra careful because I know they will rip. And if yours does start to rip, you should email their customer service because I heard they're really good. Some people have said that they do replace the wraps or anything else you have a problem with. So now moving on to the actual trackers. You're supposed to tap them 2 times to wake them up, but I actually have to tap it a few more times. And each one shines a different color, whether it's blue or red, and that's how you know which glove to put it in. So these trackers basically track how many punches you've thrown, how fast you throw them, and your output. And they do seem to be pretty accurate as to how many punches I throw. I have noticed if my punch isn't hard enough, it doesn't count it. So yeah, these aren't perfect because they do miss a few punches here or there, but I'm glad that I have them. So moving on to the bag and the base, this is actually a Century bag that's rebranded with the FightCamp logo on it. To fill the bag, FightCamp recommends you fill it with 350 pounds of sand. And most people seem to agree because water doesn't seem to keep it stable enough. So what I did is that I bought sand from Home Depot and I filled it with that. I believe I put around 300 pounds of sand in there. And even with just that, the bag still moved around a little bit, but that was before I had the mats or the bag ring. After putting it all together with the bag ring and the mats, the bag no longer moves. The bag still shifts, but in terms of placement, it actually doesn't move anywhere. Also, to make it as easy as possible to fill it with sand, make sure your sand is dry. I went to Home Depot on a rainy day and pretty much all the bags were soaked. So it pretty much took me hours to fill this thing. Some people also recommend getting a traffic cone and taping it to the base to get all your sand through. And before you put the sand in, make sure you're in the room that you're going to use this in. Because once all the sand is in there, you won't be able to move it much. You may be able to move it from room to room on the same floor, but if you're trying to get it to a different floor, you're not going to be able to do it. I keep mine here in the basement and I don't plan on moving it for a while. Moving on to the mats, they do seem to be very high quality mats. They interlock the same way like some of the mats that you've seen before. But they're nothing like those cheap mats that you find for 20 bucks. So in order to actually use FightCamp, you have to download the app. But as of right now, you can only download the app on iPhones or iPads. There's currently no Android app for it. They do plan on releasing an app for it, but as of right now, it's only for Apple. The best way to get it on your TV is if you use Apple TV. If not, you're going to need to buy a separate cable that runs from HDMI to Lightning. Or if you have an iPad Pro like I do, just get an HDMI that runs to USB-C. I actually already had a USB-C hub, so I just connect the HDMI straight to this, and this goes to my iPad. But I did move my FightCamp bag to the other side of the room, so I no longer use the TV. I now just place my iPad to the side and use it like that. So using the FightCamp app is actually pretty easy. They are always updating the app with new workouts. And they also have something called the Prospect Path, which is what I'm doing right now. And it's basically a whole schedule of workouts to do for beginners. They start you with the most basic punches and they help you get better at them. So if this is your first time using a boxing bag, I recommend you start with that. So before FightCamp, I actually had a whole setup down here with gym equipment. But even with all that equipment, it was very hard to stay motivated. Having gym equipment didn't help me. Even having a boxing bag by itself doesn't help me. But what does actually help me are the trackers with the FightCamp app. Because it keeps track of everything, it helps keep me motivated. And I actually like working out with the boxing bag. I never really liked weightlifting and it would always take forever, which is why I always dreaded it. But with FightCamp, I just go in and out in 15 to 30 minutes depending on the workout. And punching a bag actually makes me like working out. So if you're someone who has trouble staying motivated to work out, I suggest you try FightCamp. Yes, it's expensive and there is a monthly fee, but to me it's worth it. Especially for the convenience of being able to work out at home. And the fact that they're always updating the app with new workouts. It's never the same stale workout routine, and you're always pushing yourself. I pretty much took down all my gym equipment and just set up FightCamp. I also left a separate pull down machine that doesn't take up too much space. The main FightCamp system is going to be my main source of working out for a while, and I highly recommend it. Again, my name is Kenny. Like this video if I helped you out, and subscribe for more videos just like this.